Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman, Jay Harrison. Keep an eye on text so you don't have to. Gabriella Vadu over at PC World has a shopping list of cool things for your tech family. We're in that list. I would buy the National Geographic stuff. I would also get the Lego stuff. I think those are very cool. What about this electric screwdriver set, Jay? This one's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's a 70-in-1 mini electric screwdriver set, USB-C rechargeable, costs $50. Seems a little pricey to me, but 70-in-1's a lot of stuff.
Stravidio?
So.
Is that who makes it? Is it Stravidio?
Yeah, Strabitio. Bitio? I don't know. I don't know how you say that.
I think so, yeah. Anyway, it's an electric screwdriver set. It's USB-C rechargeable. So, you can hook it to, I guess, a USB-C hub or whatever, and you can charge the thing. You can hook it to a wall and, Anyway, very interesting. $70, quite expensive, but
$50.
How many do you get 70 or $50? How do you get 70? I mean, that's 70 connectors. That's pretty good, Jay.
Yeah, it's 70 bits for it. Because you got a lot of security bits in different sizes and the double-aught Phillips and the really small ones and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I like it. I've seen some on in different places, TikTok, eBay, Amazon, that are very similar to this. Usually they fold up in a little square or round kit with all the bits in there. Again, $50 is a little on the high side, but it's but they're a pretty cool gift, especially for somebody who takes things apart.
Yeah, and if you get one, though, for Christmas, don't tell people they spent too much on it, Jay. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, you don't even ask. You just say thank you.
You just smile and say thank you. This is incredible. And by the way, it is. I mean, that many bits. If you find a project that you can't find the bit for, I'll be surprised on that, baby. That brings me to the point we ought to move to the metric system, and then you wouldn't need as many bits, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yep. That's another argument for
All right, this Raspberry Pi, man, this one's kind of cool. Was it Broztec?
Raztech offers, Raztech for the Raspberry Pi, offers a Raspberry Pi kit with accessories and tools for various DIY applications. Pretty cool. The Raspberry Pi is, we talked about this, I think, in a previous show where they're having to up some of their prices because RAM is getting hard to get. I've been playing with some very small computers right now, made by GMK Tech, and they're number one, they're smaller than the Raspberry Pi. Number two, they're far more powerful, and they run Windows 12 or Windows 11. They have 12 gigs of RAM.
They run Windows 12. That's incredible. I want to
get
one of those.
That's futuristic, isn't it?
I'm just kidding.
On 12.
Well, hopefully Windows 12 will be good.
They have 12 gigs of RAM. They run Windows 11, and they're a little more expensive than a Raspberry Pi, but not too much. They're in the 180 to 250. What's that?
Are they mini PC-esque? Is that what they are?
They're mini PCs, yeah, kind of based on the NUC system, the Intel NUC, and they're small. Yeah. They're like, trying to think of something. They're smaller than a baseball. I'll put it that way.
They're smaller than a Raspberry Pi, huh?
Yeah, smaller than a Raspberry Pi. They're a little bit taller, but they're.
And how much is this Raztech kit if you want to get it for your family?
It doesn't say on the notes that I have, but I would. It also depends because these are Raspberry Pis, probably or Raspberry Pi 5s. Depends on how much memory you get in. You've got a 2 gig, a 4 gig, and an 8 gig version of that, so that's going to change the price too.
And then storage is another kind of discussion, right?
Yeah, storage is for the Raspberry Pi is all going to be on a TF card, on the little micro SD cards.
Right. I'm just saying you can get different sizes of that too, though, right?
Correct. Yep.
So I'm just saying that kind of changes the pricing and everything else. All right, 12 Arcade Classic, Jay.
Yeah, another Arcade Classic sells a retro mini arcade game for $20. Features classic games like Pac-Man and Tetris. This might be a better deal than the other one, which is just a one game for $30. But retro gaming is pretty lucrative. They're still making a lot of money on those old games because they're classics and there's so much nostalgia.
I like it because it's kind of a simpler, more innocent world, right, Jay?
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia there. And a lot of I see people pushing a lot of the very, very simple older games like what you would see on the on like the Atari or maybe some really, really early arcade systems, maybe even the 8-bit Nintendo. But I really think that the sweet spot for gaming happened around, and it's probably because of my age and where I'm at, and where I was as a kid when this came out. But I think the 16-bit systems, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, that's the sweet spot of gaming where it's not hyper realistic, and yet you can still do a lot of stuff, and it's so I like the retro gamers that have that kind of technology in them. Some of that other stuff almost seems a little too simple to me.
There you have it. Some of the stuff also seems overly complex and violent and everything else. And there's kind of a sweet spot, though, the classics and the arcades. And, that kind of style was just clearly gaming. There was no confusion of reality versus whatever. When you immerse yourself, immersive technology, if you're not very careful, gets difficult for some young people to kind of really understand, hey, this is just flat out a game. And, there's a lot of that stuff kind of on the cusp of new gaming too, Jay.
That's right. Next one up is Numbskull.
And it's turning everybody into numbskulls, Jay.
Numbskull, which is a company, produces a Minecraft-themed gaming accessory locker and storage stand. Retails for about $30. So that's just another kind of gift idea, a little stand that's sort of like a locker for your whatever's. You put your Switch in there and your other gaming stuff, I guess.
All right, so I would get that Rostec Raspberry Pi one. I would get that Arcade Classic for only $20, a bunch of games. That's kind of cool, just especially if it's, the Numbskull Minecraft thing. Would you get that, Jay?
Probably not. Another piece of furniture,
But you would get the next one, right?
The Bamboo Labs A1 mini 3D printer. I would. They're kind of expensive. This doesn't say. I feel like they're in the neighborhood of like $300-400. It's a mini 3D printer. It's highlighted as compact, very quiet, suitable for various printing options. I think 3D printing is cool. I've just not had the time or the money or even really the space to get into it. But it's something that me and several of my kids are interested in. So I see that
I'm
kind
highly
of in the future.
interested in it too. It'd be kind of fun. Make little things and stuff like that. It's very interesting. A lot of it's experimental, but I'm telling you right now, as AI continues, before you know it, AI paired with a 3D printer will get rowdy, capable of doing a lot of interesting things, to say the least. So that's a great one to consider for Christmas or the hobbyist or whatever else. All right, how about this one, Jay? This drone.
DJI Mini 4K drone, priced for its compact size and 4K video capability with a 3-axis gimbal stabilization. No word on pricing, but again, those are going to be in the $300 range probably. I've seen these before, so it's where you're going to be at. Also, depending on what version number you get, too.
Would you get one of those babies? One of those drones?
Probably, yeah. I would. They're pretty fun.
Yeah,
they're
they're
really
very
good.
Cool.
And there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. You can even, I mean, you might have to get it licensed to do this to commercial projects and stuff, but you can even do, helping people sell real estate and, do line markings and inspections of stuff and all kinds of things. There's a lot of skills that can translate into, if you like flying drones and you're good at it and you enjoy that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things, a lot of jobs out there that are available too.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? When I was a kid, they had Cox airplanes and Cox motorcycles. That's what they called them. And they were little engines that ran on, gas kind of thing. I mean, it's different gas than what you put in your car or whatever. But anyway, and we used to play with those things a lot and fly those things around and stuff. Those things are nothing compared to today, man. The kids today have some incredible stuff, Jay.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
All right, last one. Jay, this is you right here, buddy.
The Phone Soap 3 is a portable phone sanitizer utilizing UVC light, priced at $68, can be recharged via USB A or C. I've seen these before. They look like a coffin for your phone. It's this little case you open up, you set your phone inside of it. They got UV lights in it, and they supposedly sanitize your phone. I don't know how much damage, if any, if that's doing to your screen or your case or whatever. UVC specifically tears things up. It breaks things down. It's what makes the old products from the 90s turn yellow. And things like that. It does sanitize. It does kill germs, but that's what people are using
weird
now. Yeah.
And people use these things for like medical equipment too, like CPAPs and other things. They have similar kind of technology where you put it in there and it supposedly sterilizes it or whatever. And, some things there too. So, I guess if you're paranoid about your phone, if you're like, hey, I don't want to touch anything. I don't want anything to touch me. If you're that kind of person, then this thing's great, right?
It's better than slathering your phone down in hand sanitizer.
Well, you got to do something, Jay.
Right.
All right, Adobe's in the news. Did you see this, Jay? This is very interesting to me because Adobe is, everybody loves to hate them. You love them because they've got some of the most incredible features in a lot of their software. They're at the top of their game with most of their software in terms of feature set and neatability, so to speak. But they're frustrating in many ways, too, because they're very hard to learn. They're difficult, complicated products. They're incredibly expensive. Adobe wants to change that image, Jay, with this one.
Yeah, they say that they are going to offer special versions of Photoshop, Adobe Express, Adobe Acrobat, and have included ChatGPT functions with them. So the integration, which they say is offered at no cost for features for image editing and converting text to PDF directly within ChatGPT. Users can access these features by typing in an app's name, followed by a command such as Adobe Photoshop, help me blur the background of this image.
And what would you say? Adobe Acrobat, create me a PDF of this. Boom.
I don't know really what you would use, maybe to enhance or clean up a PDF. I'm not sure what you would use too much AI for in a PDF.
You might take a Word doc and convert it to PDF, or you might paste something into the chat prompt and then say PDF this baby or something.
Yeah, and I think that overall software is going to move more toward that. I've seen that recently with some programs where you can just type what you want instead of having to know exactly what menu and what sub menu this thing is hidden underneath. For example, in a PDF, you can just save that. Say you want to convert it to an image, like a PNG file. Most users, if they're familiar with it, they're going to know you just save as, and you go down and you select the source and the output file, and you change it to a PNG file. But if you don't know that, if you're unfamiliar with the software, I can see where having kind of an AI editor interface where you just type like, hey, I want to save this file as a PNG, and it just knows what you're looking for, understands that, and gives you the output that you want. I could see that being, it's kind of cool. It kind of makes me feel like we're dumbing down software a little bit, but I also see where, man, that'd be so helpful, especially when you don't know anything about a software and you're trying to use it for the first time.
The first time, and or if you use software rarely. Okay, so I use a program called FFMPEG or whatever it's called, and it's a command line utility that just does wonders with
video
I'm familiar
with
audio
FFMPEG.
FFMPEG. Okay, and for me, I think it's incredibly powerful software. I mean, it's shocking how powerful it is.
Right.
But at the same time, I put things in batch files and stuff like that, so I don't use it every day, and I don't remember the command lines. It's really helpful to use a ChatGPT or somebody to help me build and remind me of the details of the command lines. So it's a little bit of that going on. All right. I'm Sam Bushman for Jay Harrison. Thanks so much. NPI TechGuys.com. Make it a great tech day, will you? Thanks.